5 Most Haunted Dolls with Horrifying Backstories. 1. Annabelle. When I first heard of Annabelle, I thought it was only exaggeration. A raggedy and doll innocent, cloth-made, and almost laughably benign didn't fit the image of a haunted object. But the doll's story quickly wiped away any doubts. It started with 2 young nurses who shared an apartment. One of them received Annabelle as a gift, and at first, the doll sat harmlessly in the corner of the living room, but then it started moving. At first, the movements were subtle. The doll would shift slightly, her arms repositioned or her legs crossed. Then the changes became more noticeable. Annabelle would be in a completely different room. Notes began to appear around the apartment, written in childlike scrawls, saying things like, "Help us." The nurses had no explanation. They didn't own paper or pens like the ones used for the notes, and no one else had access to their apartment. Desperate for answers, the nurses contacted a medium. The medium told them the doll was inhabited by the spirit of a little girl named Annabelle Higgins, who had died tragically nearby. Feeling sympathy for the child, the nurses decided to keep the doll and treat it with kindness. But their kindness was met with something far darker. One of their friends, a man who often dismissed their fears, woke up with claw-like scratches all over his body after taunting the doll. Terrified, the nurses reached out to Ed and Lauren Warren, well-known paranormal investigators. The Warrens quickly determined that Annabelle wasn't possessed by a child's spirit but by a malevolent entity. This entity had used the innocent image of a child to gain the nurses' trust, and it was only a matter of time before it could cause real harm. They removed Annabelle from the apartment, taking her to their occult museum. The doll now resides in a glass case, labeled with a stern warning, "Positively do not open." Despite being confined, Annabelle's influence hasn't waned. Visitors who mock her often report car accidents or other misfortunes after leaving the museum. Some claim the doll has even moved slightly within her case, as if trying to escape. When I saw her, she looked so ordinary, yet the air around her felt heavy. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching me, studying me. The museum staff emphasized the importance of treating Annabelle with respect, and I made sure to do so. But even now, I sometimes wonder if she followed me in some way, her presence lingering in the corners of my mind.